Hey, Global Issues class. All right. So, this is the second day that we're learning about immigration as a global issue. And yesterday, you read just a short article, answered a few questions about kind of the history of just the general history, right, of immigration to America. And today, I think it's important to zero in on the discrimination and stereotype factor of immigration history to America. And I think sometimes as modern Americans, we get the idea that and no matter where you stand on the immigration issue, right? That we're the only generation, the only time in history where people have had this big immigration issue and they look down on immigrants and there's this all these stereotypes that exist, and that's just not true at all. All right, there have been waves of immigration, and there have been waves of discrimination that go along with it. And so I want us to get the idea of how that kind of worked. And I'm not condoning it. It was not a good thing, but I don't want us to think that our modern issue of immigration is unique in any way, right? It has happened before in American history. So the kind of setup here, what you're going to do is several things. First, I'd like you to watch a short, it's about 3 minutes, 3.5 minute video that talks about the waves of immigration that came to America, and that'll kind of set the stage for the different time periods that existed for massive amounts of immigration to the U.S. And it'll tell you kind of which countries people tended to come from in those years and the types of jobs they tended to get. Okay, so again, it's very short and informative. Then I'd like you to go to a page that I created that has some information on it. I've got I think it's three video clips that are attached to it, and I've written a paragraph or two kind of giving the context and the description of it. But it's just illustrating two groups that faced massive discrimination when they immigrated here: the Irish and the Italians. Okay, there are obviously other groups that immigrated, and they face their own issues with discrimination and their own stereotypes. But I just wanted to illustrate in detail for you two of the nationalities or groups that came, and kind of what and why they experienced discrimination. Then your assignment, after looking at those resources, is to choose two other immigrant groups. I think I gave you the choices of Chinese, German, Russian, or Hispanic to look at, and I've given you just four kind of basic questions to answer about those immigrant groups. To be clear, I put it in the directions, but you need to choose two of those groups to research. It's brief research, won't take long, so you need to choose two of them, whatever two you want. I guess the last piece of direction, I would go through the resources first. Okay, don't jump to the assignment. Go through the resources first, because they will hint at, for several of the questions, what the answers are, and they will save you some time from having to Google and wade through terrible search results and everything on Google to find the information. You should already have some of it kind of laid out for you. Okay, so I think this should be a fun kind of lesson. The video clips are from really great movies, Gangs of New York and The Godfather Part 1 and 2. So very, very good movies. I would turn your closed captions on, right, just because they talk with heavy accents. That can be helpful to understand a little bit better if you put your captions on. But otherwise, have fun, enjoy the movie clips, but remember, connect it back to the discrimination and stereotypes that immigrants to America have always faced. And the last note is that the good news is the discrimination is temporary, right? We now view Irish and Italian culture and even elements of Russian culture and German culture, we view that as American now, right? And so that's the cool thing, right? That it all ends up tying together in our big diverse culture here in America.